Welcome, everybody, to episode number 6, Wrestling with Comedy. I am your host, the real deal, Joel Davis. And today, whenever you're listening or tuning into the podcast, the show today is going to be talking about upcoming guests coming on. We have some special guests that are going to be appearing here on the podcast, Wrestling with Comedy. I'm excited about bringing them in the month of December. That's right, this month, you're going to be seeing and hearing special guests coming in, being interviewed, and they're going to be asked the questions that the people want to know the answers to. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting, to say the least. So don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. This is episode number 6, Wrestling with Comedy, talking about the guests coming on the show, live streams, a lot going on in December 2025. Wrestling with Comedy. We're excited about it. We're bringing it to you. Don't miss an episode. It's happening this month. There's already negotiations being started up. It has been phone calls, text messages, and emails about different guests that are going to be coming on this show, this podcast. And they're going to be talking about their careers, their experiences in professional wrestling or stand-up comedy. And it's going to be very exciting and interesting. And I will ask the questions and keep it real 24/7 like I do in real life on this podcast. We're going to be asking questions that they might be shocked to hear. Or there may be comments made that they may not agree or disagree with. But we're going to lay it on the table, so to speak. It's going to be right here, Wrestling with Comedy. And it's a big month coming up in December. You don't want to miss these episodes. There's guests that's going to be coming on. We've already started talking with some very interesting guests that have confirmed that they will be appearing on this podcast. We're going to ask questions that have never been asked before. We're going to be showing footage. Yes, it's going to be really interesting this month, December 2025, on Wrestling with Comedy. I'm excited and happy to bring it to you all. The podcast that's already a little bit of a buzz going on with our first few episodes, and it's just going to heat up. And everybody wants some heat, especially in the winter in the Northeast. We're going to bring you the heat. We're going to bring you the heat right here on this podcast. So you don't want to miss an episode. If you have anyone that you would love to see or like to see, or if there's anyone in any the sport of professional wrestling that has been a promoter or anybody, a manager, a referee, a ring announcer, a valet, a professional wrestler itself, or maybe a booker, someone behind the scenes in professional wrestling that you would love to know more about or ask questions on a live stream, you can put a comment in the comments below underneath this podcast. I do read everything. I see everything. And I respond to every comment. And I will look into whoever you may want to hear about or you may want to see and hear on the podcast. I will give you my promise that I will look into it. And more than likely, I probably can pull it off. And, it's one of those things that, you're going to have, someone that's been there, done that. I've been professional wrestling for a couple of decades or better. And having someone else in the sport to talk with it, I think it's good. Actually, I know it's going to be quite interesting. And in stand-up comedy, we got, I've been promoting now, Keeping It Real comedy production. And in comedy, as a stand-up comedian, going into my 4th year as a comedian. And, this year of 2025 has been a lot of travel, and there's a lot to talk about. I'm still, sometimes I'm amazed that I was able to perform not only in New England, Massachusetts and Rhode Island, also in Connecticut. I was also able to perform in Austin, Texas, and New York City, all in this 1 year of 2025. I love the ride. It's a crazy ride. It's up and down. It's a bumpy ride. Sometimes bumpy ride. But it's part of the game. It's part of the business. And it's like anything else. It's just like in professional wrestling. It's paying your dues. I'm here to pay my dues, and I have no problem paying my dues. But the podcast itself is going to bring such interesting information to you and give you knowledge that you may want to obtain. And you may hear comments and questions that you may be shocked. You may be like, what did I just hear? Or what just went on? Or you might not know what's happening. You may have to, clear your ears out or something and say, am I hearing what I'm hearing? Am I hearing what I'm hearing? Yeah, baby, it's the real deal, Joel Davis. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting heated up. It's one of those things that, we've had some great feedback already. This is episode 6. We've had 5 episodes, and we also have had the pilot. In the month of November, we've been very, 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 active, and we've had some great feedback from so many different individuals. And trust and believe, I appreciate all the input and all the comments and the good words that we've heard. It's a learning experience. I never said I was a tech man. I've never been a tech man. Working with this, it's a learning experience. And we got the Samsung microphone here. We got the extra camera here with the lighting. We're right here in the studio, right here, as with the Old Glory, the great American flag hanging in the back. I'm proud to be American. That's right. We're bringing you interesting information. And like I was talking with someone the other day, and they had said, Joel, it's good that you have this podcast because you've been both in professional wrestling, as a professional wrestler, and then I had managed too. If you didn't know, I had managed for a while as a heel manager for the NWA On Fire. And now, that the Savoldis they ran the old IWCCW. I was actually with the NWA On Fire out there in Mexico, Maine, and I managed the Latin Hit Squad, Chico and Nico. Nico, a legit state trooper in the state of New Hampshire, one of the tag teams that I had managed, and his partner, Chico and Nico. And they did some battles out there as a heel team, and I managed them, and I wore the hood and made a couple last appearances in the ring back there in 2012. So I was a manager in professional wrestling at the end of my career. And I'm excited about being able to talk about not only being a professional wrestler in tag team and singles and working for the National Wrestling Alliance New England with the late, great Tony Rumble, and being in the ring with some of the greats like King Kong Bundy and Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, it's not a fantasy. I didn't make it up. I didn't have a dream. It sure wasn't a dream. It was a dream originally, and I made the dream happen. So, being a professional wrestler for all those years is not only a professional wrestler itself, I also was a manager, and yes, I was a guest referee for a few different events. And one event that I was a guest referee was Travis Funk, the Funkster, cousin, very, very distant cousin of Terry and Dory Funk Jr. Travis Funk battled the Extreme Strongman Gino Martino, and Gino Martino was managed by the late, great King of the Hot Punch, Ox Baker. Rest in peace, Ox Baker. And I was a special guest referee for that match. And also, another time I had the opportunity to be a guest referee in front of a sold-out audience of hundreds of people in Braintree, Massachusetts, was when Virgil, who was known as Vincent from the NWO, was in the ring in a big battle for the heavyweight championship that night. That turned into an actual legitimate brawl as a knife-wielding fan came into the ring with a switchblade and almost lost his finger, the fan did, when Virgil threw a kick at him as he was trying to get through the ropes. That's another story for another podcast. That's definitely going to be an episode down the road. The night that I was actually in, the Real Deal Joel Davis, special guest referee, capacity crowd, that winter night way back in the early 2000s, I believe it was 2001, that Virgil was attacked by a knife-wielding fan in the front row, and this is legit. It's a shoot. We have footage that we will be showing of the attempted knife attack on Virgil, who was Vincent in the NWO. Virgil as the bodyguard for the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, that was in the WWF at the time, now the WWE. So not only professional wrestler, special guest referee, also a manager, a heel manager, and not only that, I mean, I actually was able to do a lot more than that. I mean, quite frankly, I actually was behind the scenes doing a little promoting and booking and helping out with autograph signings and in professional wrestling. And if you think about it, with the UCW, I did some play-by-play commentating. And just the love of the sport, just like I love stand-up comedy, and it's my only love right now is stand-up comedy, and that's all my focus is on. And being in stand-up comedy, and now being a promoter and now a podcaster, it's actually a real rush to be able to participate in all this and this part of my life with the knowledge that I bring to the table. Yeah, I got a few years on me, but I've been around the block a few times, so to speak, and I'm trying to share a little bit of the motivation that I have and the positive energy that I have, and I bring the energy. I do. I bring the energy, and we're going to bring the energy here to this podcast every episode. We're not doing nothing half-ass. We're not just going to do a podcast that doesn't give some kind of information that might be interesting to some of the viewers. We're covering both stand-up comedy and professional wrestling. And that's why episode 6 is so important to everyone out there, as we may even tease a name or two by the time this podcast concludes. Yes, we have been talking with some names that you won't believe. You will be shocked to know that they're going to actually appear right here on Wrestling with Comedy. And, it's one of those things that being a stand-up comedian and getting that experience as a comedian now, yes, I've been on the stage, going on my 4th year, promoting now, going on my 2nd year, and yes, I know entertainment, and that's why I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, because we know there's podcasts out there that people are talking about different subjects, and they've never said, like they say, that old generic saying, been there, done that. They haven't been there, and they sure the hell haven't done that, and they're still talking about it, So, I really am happy and proud and pleased to be able to bring this to you and tell you, what I know and how I learned it, and a little more of my experience. As being able to be an entertainer my whole life, pretty much, going back to my teen years in the Backyard Wrestling Federation, we would do all that crazy stuff back then as teenagers in high school, and just all the other different avenues I went with, trying out for commercials and the Road Show. I tried out for the co-host on the Road Show, which was like a Good Morning America show that was based out of Rhode Island. I made it to the finals. The actual tryouts and the star search, so to speak, was at the Twin River Casino in Rhode Island. I made it to the finals, but I didn't get the shot at it, but I gave it a shot. So I've tried out for different television positions, TV commercials, and this is all goes way back. I went through the modeling agency, the early 90s. So entertainment has been always a part of my life. I love entertainment, and the podcast was going to be happening. It was in the works, and I'm so glad it did start. November 1st, 2025 was our first podcast. It's the pilot. It's here on the YouTube channel, comedian Joel Davis. If you can subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. All the subscribers, that way you won't miss any episodes. We have some brand new shots coming up, and then some videos of different sets that are coming up from my stand-up comedy that I've been performing at, and different clips that you've never seen before are going to be on this channel only, comedian Joel Davis. So if you subscribe, you will get all those notifications. And like we talked about earlier, and that's what the focus of this podcast is today, episode 6, there's going to be some live guests coming on, not only from stand-up comedy, but from professional wrestling. We're going to be switching it about. If there's any particular comedian, promoter, professional wrestler, anyone that's in the area or that may not be in the area that you might like to hear about, always drop it underneath here under the episode. And then of course we're going to be talking about the Jerry Springer Show. That I was a guest twice on 1999. I was a guest on Jerry Springer in July and November of 1999. I was flown out to Chicago to the O'Hara Airport, and I was a guest on those two shows. And there's a lot of interest in those shows because, Jerry Springer's passed away. Rest in peace. And there's been some controversy about Springer, and the documentary. And that's going to be a whole episode that is one that you won't miss. You don't want to miss. I mean, you might miss it, but you don't want to miss it. And that's coming up. And that's going to be a great podcast because during that podcast, we're going to show some clips. We're going to talk behind the scenes on how I had been interviewed through Zoom three or four times, 2 phone calls, text messages, and 5 or 6 emails. And it was a build-up towards that documentary that had just come out, Lights, Camera, Action. Lights, Camera, I think it's called Lights, Camera, Fights. I don't have that in front of me, but it was the documentary that came out, the Jerry Springer Show that came out earlier this year that I was interviewed for and that I was looked at to be a part of the documentary. But we're going to talk about what exactly happened, how it happened, what the producers wanted to know about, what they asked me, what they told me. You're going to hear it all because, again, been there, done that. I mean, I'm talking about something that I've done that's happened, not something that, my opinion, or I'm a weekend warrior, or I'm a couch warrior, whatever they call them, or, I like to talk about shit that I know about, and that way you get some quality information here on the podcast, only here on Wrestling with Comedy, If I don't know you personally, or I do know you personally, if I don't know you personally, maybe I'll meet you down the road sometime. And if I do know you personally and you know me personally, I'm sure you do know that love me or hate me, I keep it real 24/7. And that's the way I roll. That's the way I always will roll. I just believe in being authentic, and I just love people in general. I love people in general, all types of people. And one thing that I do believe in is no one's better than anyone. I don't care where you are. And remember something, folks. Keep in mind, if you're riding the high wave right now, don't kick someone when they're down because they can come up and topple you, you're thinking about, talking to somebody, talking like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Hey, listen, it can happen to you too. So instead of trying to, stomp on somebody or kick them when they're down, give them a lending hand and help them up a bit, and it might come back to you. They call it karma. I don't know. I don't really know if that shit's true, but I think it does come back to you because, you help people out. It's a good thing to help people out. Don't kick people when they're down. And this podcast is real. It's authentic. It always will be. Wrestling with Comedy. Cannot wait to see and hear these guests that are coming up. We got some crazy stuff coming up and some crazy, when I say crazy, I mean it in a good way, guests that are going to be talking up what they're doing, what they have done. They're going to be other been there, done that people. And what I wanted to mention today on today's podcast, December 1st, 2025, is there's a big show coming up. That's right, live stand-up comedy, which is my number one love. Live stand-up comedy. I've been writing. I take notes. I take my notes. I write on a regular basis. I love observation comedy, observation material. I really enjoy it. I enjoy everything about comedy, including crowd work. I know the area. I actually was thinking about this. I'm not sure how close it is, but I remember working for the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance, when I was the NWA New England Light Heavyweight Champion, and I was defending my championship in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And I believe that is in the area of Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm going to tell you all, folks, I'll tell you right now, people, they love me in Lawrence. I love them in Lawrence. It was just a connection automatically as soon as we all laid eyes on each other and I got out to the ring. They just could sense it. And people can sense it. They're like animals. They can sense a real, authentic person and somebody who gives their all. In Lawrence, Mass., love you people still remember that. That was back in 1998 when I was the light heavyweight champion of New England in the National Wrestling Alliance. And that was great to be there and to perform in front of that great crowd in Lawrence, Mass, which I do believe is close to Worcester, Massachusetts. I may be off, I may not, but I never really passed history, I don't think, in school. But anyways, yeah. So that's the thing with Worcester, Massachusetts. That's where it's going to be, and I know this probably show up backwards, but there it is. There it is. The comedy. It's the 20 year. Whoa. Beautiful. All right. You see it. It's the 20 Spot Comedy Showcase, Worcester, Massachusetts. Thursday night, December the 11th. Doors are 7 p.m. Show is 8 p.m. It's a special free admission show. Your promoter, your producer, your favorite neighborhood girl is bringing a big sponsored event. Latasha Hughes, the promoter and producer and host that night, is bringing you the 20 Spot Comedy Show. And yeah, you got it. The real deal Joel Davis will make his first ever appearance in Worcester, Massachusetts in stand-up comedy mode. Get ready, Worcester, Massachusetts. It's about to get real and raw. Some call me controversial, some call me unpredictable, but they all call my material real and raw. And trust and believe, I'm getting ready. I'm hitting the gymnasium on a regular basis, hitting that gymnasium, hitting the weights. You think, well, what's that have to do? Yeah, it keeps the mind strong, folks. And I'm always writing, and I'm always studying. I'm always getting ready. I give it 1,000%. It don't matter if it's a big show, an open mic show. I give it 1,000%. And I'm so excited about Worcester, Massachusetts. Thank you, Latasha, for the opportunity. I'll be working with these other comedians here I'm looking forward to. Some that I've worked with before, some that I haven't. Kyle Cody is scheduled, it looks like here. C.W. Davis and Papa Bossa Hip Theron. Oh, yeah. They're all going to be at this show, and this is a big show. It's 43 Pleasant Street, Worcester, Massachusetts, at the Nabasco International Bar and Lounge. It's going to be a big one, folks. It's December the 11th, 7 p.m. doors, 8 p.m. show. And that's all on social media, also through Facebook under Real Deal Fitness and Conditioning. There's an event on there. Check it out. Free admission, great night out. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your friends, have a nice night out. I heard the food's delicious there. It's a great, classy restaurant, I believe. It's a restaurant and lounge. And it's really gonna be a real great time. I mean, and then you're saving the money on the tickets. There's no ticket fee for that night. So I know Latasha for a few years now. She's been running these shows on a regular basis. It's a quality show. So I know all the comedians will bring the funny. And when I hit the stage, I'm gonna hit it hard. I'm gonna bring it for you. I'm gonna give you some real and raw material, real life hilarious observations. And I told someone the other day, I said, geez, my days are pretty dark these days, but the darker my days get, the better my comedy gets. And it's so true because, it really comes down to, turn the frown upside down, so to speak. Goes back to the old circus with the clowns and the comedy, and they have the paint on their face, and we know all about it. We know, and then that's a great thing about stand-up comedy is that it can help. It can help you mentally. It can help. If you're in the audience and you get some laughs, and laughing is so great for the soul gut. The soul in the gut, and it's great for you to be able to laugh out loud and laugh at what you think's funny. Just because someone else doesn't, think that something's funny and you find it funny, laugh out loud, be proud. Just laugh. Be afraid to, just because someone else isn't laughing, you're your own person, and that's a great thing about stand-up comedy. That was what I really, really was so interested in stand-up comedy. I decided to put my time into stand-up comedy, and chase it down when I knew that this was the time to go for it. I knew that this was my time. I knew this was something that I wanted, that I truly, sincerely loved and wanted to give my all. And that's what I'm doing. I'm giving it my all. I'm giving it my all, and I'm bringing it to the table. And some people will say, well, geez, Joe, you did this, you did that, you did motivation speak, you did professional wrestling, you were an MMA fighter, you were a sports collectible shop owner and promoter in sports entertainment, and you promoted the big super shows with thousands of people through the doors in 2007 and 2008. Why? Well, listen, it's time for some comedy. I'm still here. I'm still doing my thing. I still got some time, and I'm bringing the comedy. And it's real-life observation comedy. I'm bringing it December 11th, right there in Worcester, Massachusetts. Big show. Cannot wait. Taking down some material. I'm going to bring some brand-new material to that show, to that venue. Looking forward to working with everyone. If you're in the area or if you can get to the area, come on down and check it out. It's going to be a great show. I can give you a guarantee on that one. You're not going to want to miss that one. And, going back to the subject of this podcast, episode number 6, Wrestling with Comedy, your host, the real deal, Joel Davis, bringing it to you real 24/7. We are having some live guests coming in. We're going to do some live streams. And when we do, we're going to do question and answer. We're going to do it all. Let's have fun with it. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy life. Life is a gift. Life is something that you need to enjoy, and you need to stop and smell the roses once in a while, so to speak. You really do. It's not all about being robotized, so to speak, and, just work and do the same routine every day. This is real, folks. This is you get one shot at it. Enjoy the ride. Like I said, stop and smell the roses once in a while. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your loved ones, your family. Enjoy what you love to do. Be proud of who you are. That's who you are. Be proud of it. Do good deeds. Do good things for people. It'll come back to you. That's the other thing, too, that we're not going to preach, but we're going to say it one more time. And don't judge people before you really know who they are. Don't listen to that smack talk and that shit talk, because everyone takes a chance. When they get an opportunity, so to speak, they're going to take the opportunity to knock somebody down, especially if there's something there that they may be jealous. They may just be a negative person, or they may just get off on it, so to speak. Don't judge somebody until you really know who they are. And don't miss an episode of Wrestling with Comedy. This is episode 6. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep it real at all costs.